who say it, but actually don't have it. Stop misleading the public. You may have been lied to, and this is genuinely shocking. Not all is as it seems, and you need to be very careful when you're looking at campervans. I will explain this and a huge mistake that people are making when they're just comparing prices. We will take a look at some of the prices of the vans and their components. This campervan is not one which you want to buy. But why? I will explain later why not. Let me tell you what somebody said at the show. Why would you buy that for 80,000 when you could buy that one over there for 60,000? Because it's the same. But they're right to say that. After all, I'm always saying, just because it costs more, it doesn't mean it's better. But in this case, it was better. Well, as far as the base spec was concerned. The base spec of the van is one of the biggest overlooked aspects of campervan buying. We've spoken before about the VW Transporter. The 5-speed manual start line is £10,000 cheaper than a Highline 7-speed DSG. Now this van, which is in question here, we're comparing a Ford Transit 110 manual, which has a starting price of just a tad less than 41,000. And yes, you did hear that right, 41,000 for the cheapest Transit panel van. That's why these campervans aren't cheap. Stop having a go at the campervan manufacturers. If the starting point is what a brand new campervan used to be not that long ago, what can they do? You can't exactly buy a van and get a conversion included for free. They are big money now. Anyway, the first van which he was looking at was from that £41,000 base van, the cheaper van. The more expensive one in question was a 4-wheel drive 8-speed automatic trail model, which starts at 53.5 grand. That's a big difference. The base van spec could in fact be over £30,000 with these new Ford Transits if you're going for an MSRT, electric, etc. There's big differences from the base model spec of the base van to the higher spec, and you can't overlook that. And look carefully, because don't forget these are base prices before you start adding on any other options which you would like from factory upgrades, like heated seats, tow bars, etc. So with this in mind, it's very pleasing to see that a brand new type approved motor caravan registered campervan is less than £60,000. And yes, we do know that that is a lot of money. But if a base van starts at 41,000 and you're getting a brand new campervan with a rib bed, a pop top with a sprung bed, lithium batteries, heater, kitchen, even with some hot water in some, a fridge, cooking facilities, then that's actually pretty good. Theoretically, that's less than £20,000 for a campervan conversion using high quality components. And additionally, with these £59,000 vans, they all have the right certification of testing, the approvals. They have been built so buyers purchasing them can purchase them with confidence, knowing that the mobile tiny home which they're in is actually safe. About 2 years ago, I spoke to a converter and I asked why they pay tens of thousands of pounds, if not more, on compliance, in-chassis testing, approvals, when they don't need to, as many others don't, and they sell a lot of vans. And the answer I was given back was, because I want to sleep at night. If something goes wrong, they want to be able to prove that they did everything right, everything was fitted correctly. Now that certainly isn't to say that just because others don't do this, that they're not safe, because there are some fantastic campervan converters out there doing a brilliant job. Some superb builders, designers, small businesses and bigger businesses. They are all doing the job very, very well and safely. But without the proper regulation, which incidentally, you'll find that a lot of these converters believe there should be, there aren't many ways that they can demonstrate that these high standards are adhered to. For campervan manufacturers who do want to put more time and effort in and a lot more money into being approved, they can be subject to strict criteria, hence only a few have done it, and that is to become a VW Motorhome Qualified Converter. For this, a converter needs to be compliant in various aspects. NCC approval is one part of that criteria. This is what Volkswagen themselves say about the scheme, which is very, very limited. Motorhome and campervan converters have to meet our rigorous high standards to gain their place on the Volkswagen Commercial Vehicles Motorhome Qualification Scheme. This includes having their vehicle meet legal type approval standards, allowing first registration as a campervan or motorhome, not as a panel van. They must also have gained approval from the NCC, the National Caravan Council, who govern habitation standards and safety of your converted campervan. And as you would expect, we insist that converters match the term of our base warranty too. So that's a 3-year warranty with VW. So here is something. You will see on this list that there are only 6 companies. Only 6. Be very, very cautious. If someone is claiming to be a VW Motorhome Qualified converter, but they aren't on the list, then you need to be asking some questions. A converter manufacturer does actually say on their website, which I think says it perfectly. Many claim it, but we have actually achieved it. That's certainly a punch thrown at those who say it, but actually don't have it. Now we know that there are some amazing converters who aren't part of the qualified converter scheme. I have no problem with those who aren't. It's a big expense and very time consuming for a start. The concern here is those who claim that they are when they are actually not. That's a pretty big false claim to be making if they are, but there are many smaller false claims which people make, a lot more regular false claims, such as, let's go back to this original van which I said you shouldn't buy. It's advertised as luxury, top of the range, but it's actually far from it. Let me again say, I've got no problem at all with a campervan built on a budget or those who actually build them. What I do have a problem with is those who misadvertise vans, market campervans as something which they are not. I am trying to make people aware that these mistakes are easily made, and a buyer needs to look carefully, carry out proper research and take their time over what really is an expensive purchase. I want to help people understand the differences, what is available, and stop paying too much for poor spec vans. Some of these adverts are laughable. I'm not going to show you any, but they're not actually too difficult to find. What is funny, I saw an advert for a top of the range campervan, but then it had upgrades available. Surely, if it's the top, then you can't go up any higher. Maybe you could have options like alternative wheels or a different coloured pop top. It's unbelievable really, because if it's top of the range, then it can't need upgrades, especially when the upgrades that are being listed were rib bed, scenic canvas, lithium battery. How can you be advertising top of the range, then upgrades such as those? Stop misleading the public. It isn't top of the range. It's a van. Advertise it for what it is. Say what the components are. Stop labelling things without actually naming what the components are. Make it open and honest so people can see what they're actually buying. You will also see this kind of wording on used vans too. Owners just carrying over the spiel that they were given when they originally bought the van. I spoke to an owner in a video last year who had bought a van which had been hugely misadvertised. That really was a shocker. It could have killed us, were his exact words. He spoke about how dangerous and poorly built it was from a professional converter. I've seen some pretty horrendous vans from much bigger converters too, and I'm not talking little mistakes. I'm not talking loose screws, carpet problems, just workmanship errors. I genuinely mean badly spec'd vans, wrong gauge wires, wrong components, rubber gas hoses where they shouldn't be, seats with incorrect bolts and no reinforcing, and incorrectly rated tyres and wheels. Another saying that always grabs my attention is no expense spared. Interesting. So no expense spared, other than the fact it was built on the base spec van. It's got cheap units, it's got a cheap bed, it's basic electrics, it's budget tyres, and so on and so on. You need to look at these vans carefully. If the van is what you want and the price is right, you're not going to be paying over the top when there's better available. Then buy it. I'm certainly not saying don't do this. It's just understanding exactly what you're buying. Let's take a look at some prices to give you an idea of what things cost. I've already mentioned the base van costs and the wide variance for this. Do not forget that when looking. After that, there are other elements of the build that can greatly affect the price. A pop top is one of the most expensive single items of a campervan. The cheapest I've seen was for less than £2,000. Not one which I've seen, so I certainly couldn't comment. And from here they start getting up to around £3,000, £4,000, £5,000, £6,000, and even more for a bells and whistles electric remo roof. And additionally, when it comes to fitting these pop tops, there are a number of options. Some campers will have them, some won't, but they can have a big difference to not only the standard of the van, but obviously the price. For instance, one of the best options, and standard with many of the NCC approved conversions, is a sprung or slatted bed. It's much nicer to sleep on. Why would you be choosing just a plank of wood? A scenic canvas is another option, LED lights, power outlets, etc. Then the question of what testings it's had, but more of that in a future video. And a massive shocker, which, to be quite honest with you, I was pretty gobsmacked about myself. And another high price component is the rear seat bed, and I've more on that as well coming up. But taking that out of the equation and just looking at specifically the price of these beds, you will see MOT compliant rock and roll beds advertised at really silly low prices. You will then see some beds advertised as M1 crash tested rock and roll beds from around £1,500. And then about £2,750 you'll buy a rib bed, and double that if you want it on rails, and even more still if you want a Remo bed or a VW California bed on rails. Tell me, what bed do the approved conversions have? What bed have they put through the crash testing in chassis? These VW qualified conversions feature in chassis crash tested beds. They have to destroy a new chassis to ensure the safety. Oh, and if it fails, then they need another chassis and do it again. And then if that fails, another chassis and do it again. These approvals don't come cheap. So lots of choice and difference in price. And that's before possibly spending another few grand on improved front seats and Napa leather upholstery. What about the fridge in the van? Did it cost £300 or did it cost £600? The leisure battery, is it lead acid, AGM, lithium iron phosphate? Then the electrical components to run it all. Are they high quality or are they a cheaper product? There's a big swing in price between them. Control panels. Do you have an LCD touchscreen panel that has lots of features like your hot shower, your lights, your heater? Check if your van is level. What are the levels of your water tanks? Or have you just got some toggle switches? What heating system is installed? Is it a few £100 or is it £1,000? Does it have a gas bottle on board in a sealed gas locker? Or does it have a more expensive, possibly £800 extra for an underslung gas tank? Maybe it doesn't have either. Maybe it has an even more expensive electrical system with large capacity batteries running induction hobs and underfloor heating. The kitchen units themselves come in a wide variety of styles and costs. You can see cheaper kitchen units being sold for a few £100. Easy to place these cheaply built inferior material units into a conversion. And you do see them quite often, where you could be buying one with better quality woods, solid work surfaces, or what some have now is the Corian work surface. They are far superior, but they do cost more. Has the van been insulated? A topic for another day, but it's something which costs money if it is, especially if you do it properly with quality materials. Wheels and tyres are also very important. Far too often do we see campervans on underrated tyres. That's especially when people are buying the bigger wheels. How many posts do you see on social media? Had a lucky escape, had a blowout. Yeah, because your tyres were 96 rated and therefore not the correct tyre. I am not saying only buy from an approved converter, far from it. I know several conversion companies who aren't approved but still do an amazing job. They do the job properly and honestly. I am saying look at what you're buying carefully. There is lots of very good marketing out there which could lead you down the wrong path. Just make sure you read, you see exactly what you're buying. Don't just buy because it looks nice. There is much more to it than appearance. This isn't a car where buying a car is much easier. A car is pretty much a car. They're not often modified like campervans are. Well, apart from sports cars and things like that, but that's another topic. With a campervan, it could just be a panel van with a few bits stuck on, then covered in glitter. and you need to be looking beyond that glitter to see exactly what it is. A van the same price as another could be completely worlds apart in reality. £60,000 could buy you a brand new, unregistered, NCC approved, with high quality components with a 3-year warranty. Or it could buy you a nearly new poverty spec panel van conversion with cheap components but might look quite nice. Or it could buy you your dream van with everything you wanted exactly how you want it from a good converter. Or it could buy you an old shed of a van, stick a mattress in the back and then spend loads of money on overseas holidays. I'm not bothered what you're buying. I don't care what you choose. I just want you to look carefully at what you buy. I will be bringing a very interesting video soon, and you will be pleased to know that it's just not going to be me talking. There are going to be a few of us, and that is going to be able to help you in how you can make the correct choices. Anyway, did any of the campervans at the NEC show sell? Or were they too expensive? Have a look here. Take care, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon.